Hey, Warrior Saints. This week, Deacon Greg and I are discussing the topic of how to keep other people's to-do list off of your to-do list. Glad to have you beautiful people with us as we continue our conversation from yesterday.
As we're going through that process and as we're going through those steps, like there's so much that hits us as far as cluing us into some steps that we can take to make that stuff happen. Like the urgency that we were talking about is one thing. I think there are so many other things. Like you said earlier about boundaries and that the need for boundaries and setting clear boundaries and then maintaining those boundaries. And I know you talk all the time, you say it regularly, and it's really hard for me. The second most important word after Lord have mercy in the English language being no. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how you see that and where you see that going and in the boundaries?
Absolutely, because it's to me the most important thing in setting those boundaries, and you know this too. I mean, and we all, or I at least, I speak for myself, but I mean, I know I'm right when I say most, if not all of us, we have the desire to want to help people, and to solve their problems, to fix. I mean, some people I get are just lazy and like don't want to deal with it. It seems to be, maybe it's a growing phenomenon, but most people want to say yes. We hate to say no to, the request of another person. And that includes not just helping them with work, but an invitation to a party. Or a luncheon, or let's go for coffee or something. And we tend to have no boundaries over our time. I don't have it in there to show you, but God help us if they saw my calendar and what I've allowed to happen in my life. It's mind blowing. So I think the first thing we have to recognize is that, and we'll maybe come to this in a moment, but you can do anything, as we said earlier, but you can't do everything. It's impossible to say yes to this and yes to this at the same time in two different locations. And yet that's the kind of stuff we all do, So it presupposes, I guess, that initially, like we talked about, you led us to a minute ago, we got to set boundaries. And in order to do that, you have to become adept at using the word no. Right? I mean,
Yeah, I think it's perfect. And you have to be deliberate about what you are saying yes to and what you are saying no to, right? Like I'm always reminded about in the Sermon on the Mount when Christ talks about this stuff and he gets into this stuff and he really just makes it very clear what we're called to do. He says, let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. And I think what he's showing us is you got to be all in or all out.
yeah.
This, and it goes back to the lukewarm stuff that we talked about earlier, but like you're either all in and you're all out. Like what you're doing, do.
Yeah.
And what you are not doing, don't do.
Right.
But don't have like one foot in each spot. Like I love watching my kids play with each other. Like they could be ignoring a toy completely. But the minute the other one grabs it, all of a sudden that was the toy that they were about to play with that they wanted. It's their favorite toy and it's very special to them.
Yeah.
My daughter tells us all the time things are very, very special to her. But like, and then the boys learned the word mine. So he's walking around just mine, no, mine. Actually, that's your sister's. No, mine. I'm like, all right, have fun with the pink unicorn. But like, it's just running into all of this stuff. We don't want something until we see someone else doing it. And then we're always left lost.
Yeah. FOMO.
Yeah. And so this yes or no, this like lukewarm thing, or where we say yes to something so far out and then it starts to come and we're like, oh my gosh, I have no desire to go do that now. Or we said no, but then the party's about to happen and we're like, I don't want to be left out. There's that FOMO.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we want to change. And it's mind boggling.
Yeah.
And it's mind numbing.
Yep.
More than it is mind boggling.
Yep.
So how do you get through that as far as setting boundaries on this yes or no? I mean, we've switched into talking about how we respond to invitations, but also with that desire to help. Can you actually fully help someone if you're unfocused?
You can't. So here's one of the things that I do, and I'll throw it out there to share with our audience. is I really believe, and I do it myself, you have to say no to 95% of opportunities and requests and invitations that come your way. And many people are like, what are you talking about? But I mean, 95% of the stuff that comes my way, you have to say no to for a million reasons. One, and this is just, you know, it may be a larger scale than many. I mean, you know this as well as I do. We have 1,000 people in this community. There's no way we could be with all of them all of the time. I mean, it's just impossible. As much as we love them and they love us, it's just, obviously it's impossible. We did the math. Remember that? Like we did the math that said, if all the work that you and I did was to sleep 5 hours a night, which obviously is not enough, and the only work we did during the whole week was the 3 hours of church on Sunday morning, with our 1,000 people, that would leave us 6 hours, 6 and change a year for each of them. I mean, and you can see how stupid that is because it doesn't include real sleep or meals or Bible studies or teaching online, or our podcast, our videos. It doesn't include weddings, sacraments, baptisms, hospitals. It doesn't include exercise. It doesn't include time with watching your kids fight over toys or be with you. You know, like it includes nothing. It's impossible to, so you have to say no to the majority of things that come your way. I mean, it's just, otherwise it's impossible. And that presupposes, which maybe we can make our next topic, you know, in this flow, is what are those 5% of things that you decide to say yes to, right?
Yeah.
So as an example, what I say no to, so, and you know this, for a few years now, I have said no to any invitation on a Saturday night. And it stemmed from a beautiful wedding that I went to, beautiful people. We did the sacrament, I went to the reception, and you know, it was lovely. I mean, black tie, music was loud though. And everyone was, you know, champagne toast this, and Father, have a glass of wine. And the music was so loud. I was sitting next to people and like, you have to scream and all that stuff to hear and to talk and to hear. And as we left, I looked at my wife. I'm like, I'm totally buzzing. My body was like, blah, you know what I mean? I went home, I went to sleep, went to church the next morning. My sermon sucked because I was tired. My head was pounding. You know what I mean? And it was like, what are we doing? The number one responsibility I have as a priest in a parish is to preach the gospel. That's the first thing I'm supposed to be doing. And I didn't give my people anything of value because I was out the night before. So I finally said, and I told everybody, I mean, I even said it. And now they, God bless them, they all know. I said, look, I'm not going out on Saturday nights. You deserve better on Sunday morning. And so in order for me to give you better, I have to be home. Even if I don't study on Saturday night, I'm home resting, preparing my body and my mind. So you have to say no. And so I say no respectfully to all Saturday night invitations, events, wedding reception. I mean, we do marriages on Saturdays, but I don't go to the parties anymore. Mm-hmm. As much as I love it. I mean, I totally enjoy being there. But my first responsibility is to preach. And, you know, anyways, that's what I do.
Yeah,
so,
no, I mean, it makes sense. It's a good template to figure out how to apply it in your life and where to go. And I think it's totally really just great stuff that clues us in to what we're doing and gives us a way to make that stuff happen. And I'm really grateful for that insight.
Hey, Warrior Saints, thanks for joining us. To watch the next part of the episode, join us again tomorrow. And as always, keep walking on the way of the Warrior Saint.